We all know how important it is for kids to get up and get moving, but new research is showing that when children live a sedentary lifestyle, it could be putting them at higher risk of heart damage. CTV's medical expert, Dr. Marla Shapiro, joins me this morning to explain. Good morning to you, Dr. Marla. So what did the study look at?
So first, if we look at the concepts of what we know about being sedentary in general, we know that that's a risk factor for insulin resistance. We know that that's a risk factor for obesity. We know that it's a risk factor for inflammation, and all of those things can put you at risk for heart disease. We also know that heart size is an independent risk factor for cardiac outcome long term, like heart attack and stroke. So this is such an interesting study following about 1,700 kids between the ages of 11 to 24. And when they entered the study, their baseline sedentary activity was about 6 hours a day. And that sort of makes sense when you think about school time, homework time. But as they reached 9 hours per day, they were a young adult at this point, and that was associated with progressive heart enlargement. And it's an interesting study because they actually measured how long they sat with accelerometers, so it's actually an independent measure. And they also did ultrasounds of the heart to see how the heart was changing over time. So that expansion of 6 hours to 9 hours per day between ages 11 to 24 translated into actual heart enlargement, which is really concerning when you think about it, how being still and not doing very much actually can put you at increased risk for cardiovascular disease.
An enlarged heart in kids. Wow. Okay, so what kind of physical activity then would qualify to move you out of that sedentary category?
What's so interesting about the study is that it showed that light physical activity, we're not even talking moderate physical activity or exertional, that if you did about 3 to 4 hours a day of light physical activity, that would reduce the increased size of the heart mass by 49%. Also, that gave you better cardiac function. If you did moderate to vigorous physical activity, you did see an increased heart size by about 5%, but that's just physiological. That would happen to anybody who works out vigorously, that they get a more robust heart size. But just think about the fact that light physical activity could actually reverse this by 49%.
By half.
Exactly, which really translates into long-term physical fitness. And look at what the categories are. It seems so mundane. Outdoor play, walking a dog, the types of things that you would just think about being outside, walking to school, biking to school, as opposed to having a parent drop you off, helping your mom or dad with gardening, even doing a game like basketball or soccer or frisbee or golf. These are activities that kids should be doing. They are not all that remarkable. It doesn't mean that you're joining a gym. It basically means get outdoors and get active, because as you get older, we see more game time, more screen time, and it's so easy for that sedentary activity to creep up to that 9 hours a day that we saw by age 24.
And become a habit. What are the key takeaways here then?
I think the key takeaway really is the fact that sedentary behavior, not only for kids, but for adults in general, is very concerning, that this really is a ticking time bomb if we don't intervene with our kids and get them up and out of their chairs and really restrict that sedentary activity. And the fact that light physical activity, which is something we all can do, and particularly in childhood, just think about the fact by age 24, if you're already getting what we call ventricular hypertrophy, a large heart, it's translating down the road to poor cardiac outcome, heart attack, stroke, decreased physical functioning. So it really is a shout out to parents to really keep an idea of how long is your child sitting during the day, and what can you do as a family to get them doing light physical activity, understanding that the benefits of this are far beyond the expectation. 49% reduction is a massive number.
I'm thinking of the school I drive by twice a day, and all the cars lined up to pick up kids.
Right, and the first thing that kids often lose is recess time, physical activity, planned sports. So get your kid doing something. It's now summer months, spring months coming up. There's soccer, there's baseball, there's all types of outdoor activities that aren't expensive to do. Get your child moving, decrease that sedentary time, and make sure that that's a message that as a family you actually model, because it has incredible heart benefits, not only for your child, but for you too.
Their hearts will thank them. All right, Dr. Marla, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
See you next time.